We take you back to the future. This is the German Touring Car Masters 2000. Hello everyone, welcome to Hockenheim, Germany, the last race weekend in the German Touring Car Masters season. And what a great season it's been. The champion has been decided, but the fans are here to see the rest of the drivers try to gain prestige as they look ahead to next season. Franz Beckenbauer, one of the major guests here today for the racing at Hockenheim. Before we get to the racing today, we'd like to take a look at one of the young drivers in the field. Marcel Thiemann has earned his place in the German motorsport scene. He's been a factory driver for Mercedes for 4 years. His driving skills and appearances for Mercedes are certainly his strength. He started racing late, in fact, at 18, and he had to overcome the image of a rich family supporting him. He started that trek by winning the German Formula Renault Championship in 1994, but there were still a number of doubters. In Formula 3, it changed. He finished fourth in that championship and won the prestigious Formula 3 race at Monaco. He gained respect and the attention of Mercedes. He gained more respect in the GT World Championship. He became known as a fast and reliable driver. He worked on the development of the 1999 Le Mans prototype. He now needs a little bit of luck for the big breakthrough in the German Touring Car Masters. He keeps pushing forward, and maybe that luck will be with him here at Hockenheim. 20 cars ready to go over this Grand Prix circuit, 4.24 miles long, 15 laps per race, each race about 63 miles. It's a sprint, 2 of them on a race weekend. And there's your pole sitter. Well, actually on the outside pole. That being, of course, Uwe Alsen. Manuel Reuter is on the pole. The 2 top cars, Opels. In fact, the Opels have surprised everyone here, qualifying the top 3 positions. In fact, here's how the lineup goes. On the pole position, for the second time this season, Manuel Reuter looking to clinch the points. Uwe Alsen, third time on the outside pole. Eric Ellery is getting his best start of the season, starting third. Bernd Schneider, the champ, is fourth. Joachim Winkelhock, looking for his second win this season, is fifth. Next to him is Christian Menzel. Then Michel Bartels and Pedro Lamy, 2 drivers trying to improve their image this season. Laurent Aiello matches the best start for the Audis this year, as did Darren Turner, his personal best. Klaus Ludwig, second time he started 11th in the field. He's back a ways. Next to him was Timo Scheider. Then comes Peter Dumbreck and Marcel Fessler. And then comes the man we just talked about, Marcel Thiemann, and Stefano Modena in the independent Opel. James Thompson from England in an Audi, and then Thomas Jaeger, his worst start of the season. And then Chris Nissen and Christian Opp. Those are the 20 cars that'll be starting the first race of the day here at Hockenheim, the 8th race weekend in the German Touring Car Masters. Reuter is on the left in the white and yellow as they get the green, and they're underway. Reuter gets a great jump. Uwe Alsen tries to pull inside in that black and red Opel, can't get by. And the cars work their way through the first corner, and it's very, very clean. But this is the exciting moment for all the drivers, this first long straight here at Hockenheim. Speeds during the race will get up over 175 miles an hour. But right now, they're bunched together trying to sort themselves out before they have to break down to a first gear chicane. Heading out through the woods, and here's that first one right here. There's always plenty of action in this corner. Usually a little bit of bumping going on, trying to sort themselves out, and we have a spin. We have a spin. Christian Menzel spun, and Laurent Aiello went outside to get by him. The cars now are sorting out more, though, and the Opels are up in front with pretty much the story to themselves. It's quite amazing, in fact. There comes Reuter, Alsen, Ellery, Winkelhock, and Bartels, and Timo Scheider had to use the emergency exit to get around the corner. Picked up some ground there. Have to wait and see what officials do about that. Meanwhile, the Opels show their dominance here in the opening lap at Hockenheim in the German Touring Car Masters, and it was Ellery that went just a little bit wide, and Jochen Winkelhock in that red Opel got by him, as did Bartels in another Opel, and Eric Ellery dropped way back. Let's see if we can see what happened here. It looks like Menzel was touched by Bernd Schneider. You can see how close it was for Laurent Aiello in that yellow Audi, but Menzel keeps on going. But Reuter is out in front, and he's picking up a little bit of ground on the field. This is a track for experience. The Grand Prix circuit, with its drafting and its little nuances, the veterans have the advantage here, where at some courses earlier this season, the young drivers, and there are plenty of great ones in the field, have a chance to keep up. But right now you can see it's the veterans, with the exception of Timo Scheider, who is running 6th right now. It's the veterans that are up front. Manuel Reuter needs to finish in the points, and he guarantees him 2nd place in the championship this season. There you get another look at Menzel, bumped by Schneider, and it's Aiello who goes off. Get another look at it from Klaus Ludwig's car. He's back in the pack just a little bit. And as they head through, you get a good look at how the chicane is handled here. So Alsen and Reuter are pulling away from the rest of the pack. There they go. And then comes the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place cars. And Bernd Schneider is running in 7th place, it looks like, right now. So the newly crowned champion, he picked it up at the Nürburgring, is running back in 7th. Right now, it's an Opel holiday here at Hockenheim. We're talking about the fact that Reuter could clinch the 2nd place. He has a 40-point lead over Klaus Ludwig. There are 20 points to win each race. Ludwig would basically have to win both races, and Reuter would have to finish out of the points for Ludwig to take over 2nd place. But right now, Klaus is back in the pack a little bit. He's back in about 9th position, and Reuter's up in front. So all Manuel has to do is to bring the car home in the points, and of course he'd like to bring it home victorious, and he's got 2nd place in the championship. A typically great fall crowd here at Hockenheim. Winkelhock and Bartels in front of this huge crowd today. Touring cars are a traditional event in the fall in Germany, and the renewal of this series after it lay dormant for a couple of years has brought the fans back. Once again, you're riding with Klaus Ludwig, and we're going through the point where Schneider got a little off, came back on the course. You can see him to the right. There goes Menzel spinning. Klaus has to go off the course, comes back on, and Schneider gets up there in front of him. So Klaus was lucky that he avoided any contact in that little melee. Meanwhile, you can see that everyone is now into the slipstreaming mode. And here the more experienced drivers certainly know how to use it. In qualifying, they were using it with some of the younger drivers. In fact, it was Opel's Manuel Reuter who used a Mercedes young driver to get a slipstream draft and gain pole position. Pedro Lamy has recorded the fastest lap so far here at the first race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters at Hockenheim. Mercedes, Opel, and Audi winding up the first season of this brand new series. There goes Schneider with those yellow mirrors in that gray Mercedes. He was trying to move up a slot but couldn't do it. Marcel Thiemann with the original Tyler car, the Mercedes, has the red mirrors, gray with the blue front. You can just see him to the right of your screen right there. Right ahead of him is Klaus Ludwig. You can just barely see the red mirrors of Ludwig's car. Here you get a good look at Thiemann coming through. And Pedro Lamy is right behind him. Manuel Reuter, your leader. Uwe Alsen running second. Alsen has one victory to his credit. That was at Oschersleben. Made a mistake in the second race. Bernd Schneider got by to take that victory. Alsen, who had quite frankly, a very miserable start to the season, couldn't get used to the car, couldn't get used to handling it. All of a sudden, in the last 3 races, Alsen has become a force. He's also known for not being that gentle. He's not afraid to come up and say hello with a slight little bump. There you see Reuter, Alsen. Reuter and Alsen running nose to tail and pulling away from the rest of the field. But the Opels are in the top 6 positions. Bernd Schneider, the first Mercedes, in 7th. Darren Turner, another Mercedes, running 8th. Turner also in his first season in the German Touring Car Masters and German Touring Car Racing. Take a look here with Christian Menzel. He gets up on 2 wheels. Up on the back of the Thompson car, it looks like, and Christian Menzel in the Irmscher Opel misjudged the braking point, jumped in the air, and then went into the tires. That's a shame because the private team, the Irmscher team, has done very well and has been improving every race. And now to come to the last race and have that kind of an accident, that's too bad. And what's happened here? Look at these 2 cars. Something happened. Reuter is smoking and Alsen is missing parts of the front of his car. Here's what happened. Whoa, they collided. It's hard to tell what happened, but they collided. Alsen came up and bumped Reuter. Alsen going into the runoff area to work his way back into the field. Meanwhile, Manuel Reuter has smoke coming out of his car. And Alsen has passed Manuel Reuter. So 2 Opel drivers collide. Laurent Aiello, what a shame. He's out of the race. Aiello, who's done some of the most magnificent qualifying for the Audi, which has had to come from a 2-second deficit at the beginning of the year to qualify up in the top 10 and finish in the top 10. He's out, at least for this race. The Frenchman, though, certainly has to be optimistic with the prospects for next year if Audi wants to come in and come back. This is a private team, the Audi team, and Manuel Reuter is coming into the pits. Your leader, who had led, comes into the pits, locks them up because that's where the speed trap is. Once they're headed down the pit lane, they have to keep their speed, and they'll go in and see if they can fix the car. The crew goes to work, going to change tires, particularly that back one. Evidently, that's where Alsen bumped him. Now Uwe Alsen has inherited the lead. He has a definite aerodynamic change. Right behind him in that red Opel is Manfred Winkelhock. Then comes Michel Bartels. Then comes Eric Ellery. And Bernd Schneider, thanks to Reuter going out, has moved up another slot. Schneider has had no luck in the fall race on the Grand Prix course and touring cars here. He'd like to win one here. He hasn't done it yet. He's got the championship, though, after dominating at the Nürburgring. Uwe Alsen. At Oschersleben, he was in double figures on going off the course. Totally unbelievable. Reuter is coming back out. They got the car repaired. Reports are he's not a very happy driver right now. When one of your teammates puts you out of the competition, or out of first place in particular, you're not going to be a happy man. He doesn't have to worry so far about his second place finish in the championship because Ludwig is still back in the field. Klaus is running in 7th position right now. He has to win the race in order to make it close in the 2nd place in the championship. And a battle going through the corner. Ellery and Bernd Schneider, and Ellery pulls out, but now they go into the draft. Bernd wanted to get by. Ellery wouldn't let him do it. Let's see what happens as they come into the east curve. Another chicane that slows them down. Inside goes Schneider. No, he didn't. He backed up. They line up and go through. In front is Winkelhock, then Bartels, then comes Ellery, and then comes Bernd Schneider. This quartet really has to be aware of each other here. Take another look at this as Schneider gets inside going in. They're equal but no advantage. Schneider goes over the curbs. Ellery holds position, goes over the curbs on the inside. They come out of the corner and Ellery has the advantage. Schneider goes off just a little bit into the dirt and Ellery prevails. Here's another look at it. And while that was all going on, everybody was paying attention to that. You can see that Michel Bartel was also trying to make a move and couldn't do it. And Bartels has slowed down a little bit. Winkelhock has pulled ahead of him. Schneider now has pulled him behind Bartels. And Ellery has dropped back a position. And pieces are flying everywhere. This is only the first race of the day, and it's one of the toughest on the cars that we've seen all season long. There's Klaus Ludwig, Marcel Tiemann, and Eric Ellery continues to drop back. A lot of sheet metal being bent here today. It was one of the things that everyone talked about before the race, that there could be this situation develop, and it certainly has here. Mercedes goes off as Klaus Ludwig comes into the pits. Ludwig is coming into the pits, and he's coming in for a penalty, it looks like. They said the car was not jacked up properly at the start, and he is taking a penalty for it. And Ludwig is not happy. He shut it off. Klaus Ludwig has shut it off. He is mad. What has happened is that the car was not properly set up at the start, for the start, and the mechanics or someone did not have it quite right, and Ludwig has been penalized, and he has just closed the door and said, that's it. There you get a look at the Mercedes that went off the course. That was Dumbreck, who took a little bit of a different corner. But going back to Ludwig, the veteran driver in the field, he's the oldest driver in the field, the top touring car driver in the field, and to have something like that happen to him, where he was not under control of it, but his crew was, Klaus's temper certainly exploded. He's out of the car. Not a happy man. He's not a happy man. But now, with him out this early, there's a chance he could be in danger of losing his 3rd place in the points to Fessler, his teammate. They're going to have to get Klaus out for the 2nd race at least. Fessler is not up in the points that far yet, but he could pick up points that would get him nearer to Ludwig. And now Klaus would have a chance to lose 3rd place. Who would have thought that possible? Fessler is 39 points behind Ludwig. So there's a chance there could be a change in 3rd place in the points in the final standings. Reuter is not worried anymore. He's on the course. Ludwig is out. Ludwig would have had to win the race in order to take over 2nd place. So that's gone. Now you get a look at Michel Bartels, followed by Bernd Schneider, the Ayrton Senna chicane. Behind them is Winkelhock. Then comes Marcel Tiemann. And there is Fessler. another 3 cars back. So it'll be interesting in the second race as Schneider gets inside of Michel Bartels. Bernd Schneider has pulled inside Michel Bartels and is now about to set up a chase for Uwe Alsen. But Alsen has a tremendous lead. Bernd Schneider, who dropped all the way back to 7th position at the beginning, has now worked his way into 2nd position in the Mercedes. Schneider and that Mercedes have been known to become stronger as the race goes on. They don't run quite as strong up front, but as the race goes on, it gets better. He seems to have a knack with the tires and with the car, and he's always strong at the end. And right now, he's pulled into 2nd place. But you can see that Uwe Alsen is rolling. After the collision with another Opel teammate and Reuter having to leave, Uwe has just taken off and run. The battle between Marcel Tiemann, the blue and gray Mercedes, and that red Opel of Eric Ellery continues. There you get a good look at Bernd Schneider, the leading Mercedes in this group with the yellow mirrors. Bartels is being challenged by Winkelhock as they head through the chicane. It's still pretty much of an Opel show, but Bernd Schneider has moved in and sandwiched himself up front. The Opels are looking good, though. And you get a great view of the east chicane here and how they use the curves. A lot of bumping going on. Fessler and Tiemann bump. Well, you can tell this is the last race weekend. People want to make a good impression, and sometimes they're battling just a little bit too hard, and Marcel Tiemann is in the gravel. His first race is over. They won't get him out until the start of the second race. Take another look at it here. Fessler is that black Mercedes on the inside. Tiemann may not have seen him, drove right into him. They bump and bump. Fessler keeps going, and Tiemann spins into the gravel. Behind him was one of the Opels, and then comes Eller's Bartels. Now take a look at this. He gets into the gravel, and it's over. So the field continues to change, but important for Fessler is that he'll have a chance to move up just a little bit in the points and have a chance to catch, possibly catch, we should say, Klaus Ludwig for 3rd place in the standings, which would be quite an accomplishment for one of the rookies in this series. They're getting the Tiemann car off the track. As Bernd Schneider, your 2nd place car, continues to run ahead of Bartels, and then comes Winkelhock. Winkelhock would like to get by Bartels. Winkelhock was another one that started off quite slow. Then he won the race at the Norris Ring on the street course in Nuremberg. That was why you couldn't see the mirrors. The red mirror of Tiemann was off, that left one, when you looked at the car. It's about the only way you can tell some of these cars apart are the colors of the rear view mirrors, like the yellow ones here of Bernd Schneider. Then comes Bartels, Winkelhock, that trio running 2nd, 3rd, 4th, with Fessler back in 5th. Ellery is running back in 6th position. As this first race heads toward conclusion. Uwe Alsen, the man that's looking to prove that he really belongs in touring cars once again, that he hadn't forgotten how to do it when he stepped into the Opels this year. Alsen way out in front, heading into the last lap. The battle right now is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions. Michel Bartels has a 3rd place finish to his credit. He would love to have finished 2nd. That would have been his best finish this season. He finished 3rd earlier this year in the 2nd race here at Hockenheim, but that was on the short course. But ahead of him is the strong Mercedes of Bernd Schneider. And behind him is a tough competitor in Jochen Winkelhock. We're in the last lap of the first race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters here in the Grand Prix course at Hockenheim, Germany. You're looking at the second, third, and fourth place cars as Winkelhock goes outside. Is he going to be able to use the draft to get by? Not here. Tries to get inside. It's not there. Winkelhock has not given up. He still wants that second place finish. If he can get it, or third place, I should say. He'll never get up in time to catch Schneider. The long straight toward the chicane. Winkelhock moved outside. Bartels blocked him. Winkelhock goes inside. Has he got position? He does. Jochen Winkelhock has moved inside and taken over third place. Bartels is back to fourth. Fessler in that black Mercedes is running fifth. Ellery is running sixth. Can Bartels make one more move to get by Winkelhock? Winkelhock is making that Opel as wide as he possibly can to stop Bartels from getting by. It's going to be hard. This is not an area that you can pass in on this track. Meanwhile, Uwe Alsen looking for his second victory this season, although somewhat controversial after his bump with the leader, Manuel Reuter. Alsen brings Opel victory here at Hockenheim in the first race of the day on the Grand Prix circuit and the last race weekend in the German Touring Car Masters. Bernd Schneider comes in a very respectable second place. Winkelhock is third, and Bartels is running fourth. So the Opels finish first, third, and fourth. A good day for them. And that's the man that brings them victories. You get a great view of the Grand Prix circuit here at Hockenheim. Peter Dumbreck came up to seventh, another of the rookie drivers this season. Pedro Lamy, also new to the series, was eighth. So some of the young drivers able to take advantage of the fact that there was a little bit of bumping going on in the early part of the season, of the race. Here comes the man that won it. You can see the aerodynamic change on that right front fender. And the fans certainly appreciate the driver's efforts here at Hockenheim. So now they go to work to get the cars ready for the second race of the day. That tent on top, like structure, is VIPs, and it's an area where they have parties during race weekends. You get a great look here at the pit road at Hockenheim, and then the back of the stadium section of the racetrack, the fans going and taking a look at the cars as best they can. Another look at the course. Another 15 laps. You can see those long straightaways. Very, very fast. It's overcast as the helicopter goes up and provide the pictures from in the car. Cars head out onto the warm-up lap, the pace lap, before the start of the second race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters here at the Grand Prix course in Hockenheim. This stadium course you're looking at right here, that green section to the left, is one of the best viewing points you can imagine. You can sit there and watch all kinds of action. For a road course, it's one of those friendly courses where you do get to see an awful lot. There are a couple of other courses in Germany, the new course, the Euro Speedway in the Lausitz area, and Oschersleben, where you get a tremendous view from the stands. Time to go racing here at Hockenheim. Alsen gets a big jump. Schneider, way on the right, had dropped back to try to get a run here. Alsen has the lead. Schneider cuts inside, but inside of him is that red Opel of Winkelhock, and Winkelhock takes over second place. And Bartels has bumped Schneider, who spins. And two more cars have gone off. Fessler is off. Ellery has gone off. And that's the Eric Ellery Opel, and look at the gravel he's throwing on the track. That'll make things difficult when they come back around here. And Peter Dumbreck has lost the hood to his car. The Dumbreck car does not have a hood. Into the chicane. That's a natural hazard right there with part of it just hanging off to the side. The Opels still out in front. And Dumbreck, who would have been the lead Mercedes, is certainly going to have to go to the pits very quickly here. Stefano Modena in the Opel now, because of all the pushing and shoving, has moved in behind Dumbreck. Modena in the independent Opel gets by, and More cars are spinning, and Klaus Ludwig is the result of one of those. Right there he is. Ludwig, who had problems in the first race, spins into the gravel. And as they go through the corner again, look at all the cars. It was Ellery involved, Ludwig involved. And now there are going to be cars all over the place to figure out who's in what position here. The difficult one is certainly for Klaus Ludwig, who went off and needs to finish. Heading back into the arena area now. Dumbreck, with that part still hanging out of his car, is going to have to pit. And the leader continues to be Uwe Alsen. But Bernd Schneider is also starting to make his charge. You see him right there to the right of your screen. Bernd Schneider spun by Bartels in the first lap in the opening moments. So now it's Alsen, Winkelhock, and Bartels is running third. Then comes the rest of the pack, and look at that. Stefano Modena is running fourth. Pedro Lamy fifth. Bernd Schneider has moved up into sixth position. Timo Scheider is seventh. So Stefano Modena is headed out for what could be one of his best finishes if he can hold position. So there's the spin by Nissen, and he hits Ludwig. Ludwig goes off into the gravel, and Klaus is back on the track, but back in the pack. And more bumping going on as Thiemann and Darren Turner have their way about things. Dumbreck's car is now in the pits. They're going to work on it to see if they can get him to come out. Meanwhile, Modena continues to run. Lamy behind him. Bernd Schneider is running third in that little group, followed by Timo Scheider, the youngest driver in the field in the Opel. And another car is taking the escape route to get around the corner. Chris Nissen's Audi is in the pits. Manuel Reuter, who is starting back in the pack, you get a good look at what happened as the cars are spinning left and right. He worked his way through and he missed Ludwig at the end. So Manuel Reuter had a front row seat to that accident back out in the east corner. Uwe Alsen continues to lead. Winkelhock is running second, then Bartels. Behind him, Stefano Modena, Pedro Lamy, Bernd Schneider, and Timo Scheider. That's the order here in the second race of the day in the German Touring Car Masters on the Grand Prix course at Hockenheim, Germany. Plenty of excitement here. Keep everybody on their feet. Timo Scheider's going off. That back rear wheel, he's got problems. His day's over for the young rookie. The 21-year-old has done a great job this season and certainly impressed everybody with his abilities. This is an expensive race. A lot of cars are damaged and several are already sitting on the sidelines. But the groups have sorted themselves out. Modena's running in that last group in fourth position. Here come your top three cars. Then comes Modena. Pedro Lamy, the former Formula One driver, now in his first season in touring cars. And behind them, the veteran, Bernd Schneider. Manuel Reuter has picked up the fastest lap. And you're riding with him right now. He was leading the first race when he was so unceremoniously bumped by an Opel teammate, Uwe Alsen. Had to go to the pits. And now is starting in the back of the field, coming in to the last race of the season. Thiemann and Darren Turner are battling. Inside also is Jaeger. This is a group of young drivers, and behind the top, those three, is Manuel Reuter. Get another look at Reuter as he tries to get by some of these cars. He pulls out. Thiemann is in front of him. They continue to head down toward the chicane. Oh, and Reuter has spun. Manuel Reuter crashes hard into the wall. He was moving up through the pack, doing so well, and then all of a sudden, he went into the wall. track crews are there. They took a real shot. You can see that he really hit the wall hard. He looks to be okay, but evidently that was a real slam. Manuel Reuter moving up through the pack. He is spun, it looks like, by Jaeger, who bumped him. He goes off and hits the wall on the driver's side. The car comes back out, luckily not too far onto the track. Reuter tried to cut back into line, it looks like, and either he didn't see Jaeger or Jaeger didn't see him. And Reuter took a tremendous jolt when he hit that wall. So one of the top Opel drivers, second place in the championship this season, there you see him right now. They'll take him in to have him checked. He's out of the race. What a disappointing last race weekend for Manuel Reuter. And what a great one it is for the leader of that little group right there, Stefano Modena from Italy in the Euro team. It's an independent team. They have also had to do their share of fighting to get up into position. And he's running up in the top 5. Here comes Bernd Schneider. Schneider is right up behind him. He has passed Pedro Lamy. It's now Modena. You get another look at Manuel Reuter's car from inside as he goes off. Hits the wall. The car spins again and comes back around. And that's the end of the racing day for Manuel Reuter. Bernd Schneider goes outside. Stefano Modena. They've got the chicane ahead of them, the Jim Clark chicane. Are they going to stay side by side? Well, they are partially until Schneider gets by Modena. Pedro Lamy quickly pulls up behind Stefano Modena. And the trio continues to run as they head toward the next chicane at the east corner. Meanwhile, this man, Uwe Alsen, continues to roll. And now he's all by himself. The Betzdorf resident continues to go looking for his second win as Lamy gets by Stefano Modena. And Fessler has lost the hood to his car. Fessler has lost the car, and because of the change in aerodynamics, he also lost control in the corner. You're looking at Ellery, followed by Jaeger. And an Audi. And now you're seeing something a little unusual as an Audi is battling a Mercedes. In the beginning of the season, Audi wasn't able to compete with anybody except themselves. They've come on very, very strong. As they head out into the chicane. The Audi on the inside, Mercedes. And he gets by. Can you believe it? The Audi coming on very, very strong. Thompson putting on a great performance here. And so the Audis, everyone didn't really have much respect at the beginning of the year, respect for their diligence in preparing the cars, but it wasn't there with power. But now they seem to be catching up and really running well at the tail end of the season. The first cars weren't ready until the very first race, basically. Mercedes got theirs done early, and then they could do some testing, but Audi wasn't the same. Bernd Schneider is coming into the pits. Bernd Schneider comes into the pits. They're going to change some tires. They evidently have some problems on the car that they're looking at. He is still parked. The car is not down. It looks like he may have problems that are going to keep him out. So the champion may not be able to finish the last race of the season. But we can enjoy this nice battle between a Mercedes and an Audi. Something you have not seen all season long. Jaeger and Thompson. What a great battle they're putting on for the fans. This is a decimated field of cars. It'll be one of the smaller finishing fields of cars this season. Look at the leaves that have accumulated on the front of Bartle's car, and it's smoking a little bit up on the tires. That's the one time in the fall here, when they sail out into the woods, you can pick up a lot of debris. And Bartle's car certainly has picked up a lot of leaves. He's still running strong, though, ahead of Manfred Winkelhock. It's almost now a battle of survival for these drivers. It has been a tough day. It has been a rough day. There's been more metal bent today than has been most of all season. Some drivers trying to prove that they should be here next year. Other drivers trying to gain prestige. And everybody not quite holding back as they might have when they're bending. That smoking tire is Michel Bartels. And Winkelhock goes by him through the chicane. The two Opels continue to battle, but it looks like Michel Bartels has some problems. Heading back out toward the east corner. That's your battle for second and third. Uwe Alsen is way out in front. He took the lead from the start and has just continually built it. He certainly is one of those who's hoping that next year will not be as difficult as this year is. The 33-year-old Alsen is one of those drivers who did not start, as most European drivers do, in Formula racing. He started in a manufacturer series and has been in touring-type cars, hardtops, all his racing career. Truly unusual in Europe. There you have Pedro Lamy, and behind him, Stefano Modena. Modena continues to push. Another driver who's had an uphill battle with a private team this year. Christian Menzel, who went out in the very first race after that rather spectacular accident, is another of the drivers who's extremely talented, but he's had to work with an independent team that had to fight to get the cars respectable. And they did. But then they went out so unceremoniously here today in the first race. Pedro Lamy also looking for a good finish here to mark his first season in touring cars. Stefano Modena, the veteran, 37 years old, from Italy. We're coming up the closing laps of the race. When you do an interview with Modena, you get a very thoughtful person. He gets kind of deep in his conversations. Interesting man. And right now, he's trying to bring the Euro team Opel back up into the front. He right now is running in a position that is one of the best finishes that he's had all year. The question is, can he hold on and bring it home? He certainly would like to. He's holding positions with a couple of laps to go. And there's Klaus Ludwig. He did get back on the course. He has held on to his third place in the points championship after Fevsler lost the hood to his car and went off the course and had to go get the car fixed. So Ludwig has held on to third place in the point standing. Now the last couple of laps are strictly a matter of prestige. And Modena wants to get by. He can't do it here. Coming out, will he be able to? Let's see. Still hasn't been able to make the move yet. The second and third place cars are already by. Lamy ahead of him. There's Marcel Thiemann. And Thiemann, once again, has had to battle, as we've seen earlier in the program when you had a chance to meet him. He certainly has had to battle with his share of problems throughout the year. He's done fairly well for himself. He's made a good name for himself in the series, as have all the rookie drivers. He's come on very, very strong. And everyone has been very impressed with the way he has driven. Now he just has to come in and see if he can get that victory, which is so hard to come by. It's just not one of those things you get every day. And right now he's got Darren Turner in his rearview mirror as they head out into the woods once again. Klaus Ludwig back in 11th position. The touring car veteran ending up a season after he came out of retirement to come back and race one more time. And this is the battle that's left with a couple of minutes remaining in the race. Marcel Tiemann, Darren Turner. They can't get any closer than that going through the East Curve. The battle for 5th continues to roll. And Modena has taken over 4th. Stefano Modena will bring his team home with their best finish of the season if he can hold on. Lamy has got definite problems. He is slowing down. Everyone is getting by him. Something very, very wrong with that car. But all these cars, as you can see, have had a rough day. Turner cannot get by Marcel Tiemann. They head into the stadium area. Into a very deep dip. They come out of it to a short chute, a small bend, and then they head right. And a right-hander finally to take him down the front straight past the pit area. You can see the fans. Touring cars. One of the most popular versions of racing in Germany. The most popular, of course, being Formula One in Europe. But the touring cars draw great crowds no matter where they are, and bringing back the German Touring Car Masters after a couple of years hiatus has brought a lot of the touring car fans back to the racing business of touring cars. Lamy is going to have to go into the pits, and this will mark the end of the racing day for him as the season is winding down. But the person that's going to be happy about all of it is this man, Uwe Alsen. After such a miserable start at the beginning of the year, now he comes back with the verge of a double victory at Hockenheim, his 3rd victory of the season, and certainly he can look forward to some fine chances next year and possibly finish up the ladder in the points race. If he finishes in this position right now, he will be 6th in the points for the year, which is a great finish after he dropped way down with no points at the beginning of the year. In fact, he had 0 points in the very opening race of the year here at Hockenheim on the short course. He had a lot of did not finishes, more than he probably has ever had in his career in any kind of racing series. But right now, he's headed with a couple of more corners. He's got his 2nd victory of the day here at Hockenheim. You can hear the fans, the noise, the flags, the fireworks, as Uwe Alsen is about to pick up his 2nd victory of the day here at Hockenheim and winds up the 2000 season with a victory for Opel. Uwe Alsen, your winner at Hockenheim. Manfred Winkelhock is 2nd. Bartels is 3rd. Modena comes in 4th. That Schneider car is the backup T car. They let him out for the last lap because he is the champ to give him a victory lap. But he is a lap down. Tiemann finishes 5th and Turner is 6th. There it is. What a great day for racing fans here at Hockenheim. The German Touring Car Masters season has come to a close with an exciting weekend of racing here at Hockenheim. And there they are. Uwe Alsen, the man on top, got caught without the champagne, and he took a bath. There are your final points as the season comes to a close in the German Touring Car Masters. We hope you've enjoyed all our coverage of the racing today and throughout the season. And we'll be back to this again when the German Touring Car Masters returns.